Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ian is a Weirdo. Today I'm going to be working on the festival top that I've been working on, and we'll kind of see how that goes. I lost my train of thought, so there you go. Uh, I I am a little discombobulated, which is very new to me because normally I have so much of my life together. I spent the first part of the day starting a foundation wear test, so that's why maybe I look a little more or less oily than normal. Um, tis uh, how foundation tests go. Um, I really like testing out makeup. It can be expensive to do frequently, but I find that I just I want to find stuff that works for me, but I also want to help other people find stuff that might work for them. So I like being able to do it when I can. And I feel like because summer's coming up and um, you know we get a little bit more sweaty, we get a little bit more sun, we get a little bit more hot. Um, a lot of the things that normally work might not work for people. So that's why I do the wear tests that I've been doing. If you like makeup, you might enjoy that. I have a makeup channel where I do first impressions, wear tests, reviews. I also do just crazy makeup looks. If you just like watching people do crazy makeup looks and talking to a camera, that could be the channel for you. And then I usually post the looks if you just want to see the final results on TikTok and Instagram, and and that's another way to view them. And Nightbot drops the links for those later on in the stream. Usually once people start chatting it up. Um, I so yeah, I've been working on cleaning my apartment. It's an undertaking, even when I feel like having a small apartment is like good on one hand because cleaning up a certain area can go a lot faster because it's really not that much space, but then also it gets cluttered so easily, um, that it's just kind of a constant upkeep. And last week I felt like I was in like recovery from like overextending myself, like emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically, like the week before. And so it took me like a week to recover, which, a sign of getting older, and also a sign of just being a disabled person who did not distribute their spoons very well. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about spoons, I am talking about spoon theory. Um, if you want to learn about that, I did just post a video recently, and I'm going to drop the link for that in case you want to learn a little bit more. For me, spoon theory has been a really great way to learn not only about physical disability, but about mental disability and mental health, and also just like mental health for everyone, not just people who deal with a diagnosed mental illness. So I'm just going to post that link now in case anyone's curious. I think it's a great way to talk about these things, because it's really about how we um, exercise like our energy levels and how we can be totally freaking drained and we still go out and do, by go out I mean, I don't necessarily mean like go to the club, although sometimes that is what it is, but also just like doing anything, like getting groceries, cleaning your room when you're already so exhausted, even just daily tasks, getting out of bed, taking a shower. Sometimes those things take energy that we just don't have. So, so yeah, I am So I put that video together. It's fairly short, and it is something that I talk about frequently, pretty much whenever I'm talking to someone and they're talking about just having overextended their energy levels. It's like, okay, you ran out of spoons, and if they don't know what I'm talking about, then it's something I like to communicate because I just feel like it's such a useful communication tool. But maybe I'm a little annoying about it. I don't know. I'm annoying about a lot of things, so who knows? But yeah, I've pinned that video if you want to check it out, but no pressure. I do think that it's whether you hear it from me, whether you hear it from someone else, whether you already know it because you're living it, um, it's a cool concept that I really like to talk about. So welcome in. I'm working on the festival top that I got commissioned for. And what I'm doing here is I am working on the different colors of the rainbow. So it started with the purple at the inside, innermost part of the cup. It went to a dark blue, a turquoise, a green, a yellow. It's going to go into a pink, and then into a red, which will go into the straps. I had to relook up the strap pattern because I didn't quite remember how I did it. So I think I found it or something close enough. I feel like a lot of like festival top patterns, when they get to like the straps of tying the top on, a lot of tops I feel like are not equipped for heavier chest, and so I purposely looked for strap patterns that I felt like would be more secure for those types of bodies, because you know you can have this great top on, but if it isn't supporting you, it's not a great top for long. If you have been there and you've been there. Um, So that's what I'm doing with this top, and hopefully I can get some better pictures this time. I don't really know. I didn't get a picture of the back, and I feel like I would really like to get better pictures with this, although I don't have anyone nearby that the sizing would fit. Um, and yeah, so it's all a learning process, and I'm not gonna get another dress form. I had a dress form that I sold, and it was on like the smaller to average size dress form. I didn't have an extra large dress form when I had it, and so it wasn't doing me a lot of good because I couldn't pattern a lot of the stuff I was making, and also because of how I dress, it like there wasn't really a form for my body. I know you can make your own and stuff like that, but that was just a lot of work that I didn't really want to do. Um, and I was scared. You can like wrap saran wrap around your body and then like duct tape it and then cut it and then fill it with polyfill. And then you have a form that fits your specific body like to a T. But I was really worried that I would cut a binder, and I was like, it's not worth it. But it probably would have saved me a lot of time. Um, but I wasn't making a lot of garments at the time. I still don't really make a lot of garments. I don't think that that'll ever be really really be the primary thing that I like to make. Just the occasional garment is fun, but I lose a lot of interest and passion for the project really fast. Um, you know, so I kind of only do it on an as needed basis. Um, I'm making the cups simultaneously, so I remember how many rows are in each color, because some of them I'm doing less rows. I am using a pattern that kind of tells you how many rows you can do in each pattern, but I'm kind of feeling it out more than than going strictly by the pattern. And then I also am kind of thinking about how it looks and how colors appear in it. So just doing my own little personal touches, and then I'm doing the under part totally differently. Because again, the strap that they had underneath was basically a like one string of yarn, and I just don't feel like that's very secure, and that really would make me nervous if I was wearing that type of top and worried about it staying on. So yeah, made lots of changes to this one, um, and uh, but love the overall idea. I wish I could find the pattern so that I could share it out, but the top itself is not a incredibly unique. Uh, like the pattern that I bought is not an incredibly unique pattern. I would say it gives good guidance on how to do different pride flag colors and how to space them and start the project. However, I think you can find a lot of comparable tops and free patterns on blogs and things like that. Um, so, uh, so maybe that's why they took it off, or maybe it's just in a different place that I haven't looked. I didn't look for very long because I was on a live, and then I just told everyone that they could look at a free, you know, top pattern and probably figure out exactly how this was done. Hi Rudy, welcome in. Thank you for telling me the time. I'm looking for something, but I can't find it, which is very normal for me. How are you doing today, Rudy? Thank you for tagging me in your video. I really appreciate it. Actually, you tagged me in 2 videos, I believe. Thank you. You know, I appreciate so much when people do share my page. It's not something that I feel comfortable like asking for, or even something that is the most priority to me, because you know, I've been over 1,000 before, and I did lose a lot of subscribers when I wasn't posting as much because I was going through mental health treatment, and so I just went months without posting, and so I lost a lot and ended up being under 1,000 again. Um, so I've had the party of making it over 1,000, and I think anyone who does make it over 1,000, it's a great reason to celebrate. It's, you know, an incredible achievement. Um, but for me this time, it's more about the connections that I'm able to make in these individual lives and in videos that I post, rather than uh, you know, making specific like numbers or analytics. And you know, that's my journey this time through YouTube, because I've gone through, you know, doing YouTube to try to get the views and the likes and all that stuff, and um, it took a lot of the fun out of it for me. And I also am not relying solely or even mostly on YouTube. Well, right now I'm not relying on YouTube for any money because I'm not getting any money from YouTube, but I don't expect to get money or a lot of money from YouTube. So I just being here with you all is enough for me. But it doesn't mean that I don't I don't appreciate uh, the the action of sharing me out. It's very sweet. Okay, so I'm on the final row of orange. So this top is called the Melted Rainbow top. It is a pattern that I purchased off of someone on Etsy who I cannot find their page anymore. I can't find anything by looking up the name of the top. So basically, what it is, it's a rainbow, kind of like bikini style top that it's like a halter tie, and then it has fringe that comes off and hides most of the torso. Um, and I've modified it a few ways to make it more compatible with curvier bodies because that's important to me. And especially when uh, think about what's out there, I feel, that's to me, that's just something I want to focus on is making uh, products that are available to a wide variety of folks. So that's what's important. Sorry, 1 second. I just got a text. Lurky turkey. Autocorrect doesn't know my words. That's rude. My phone got an update and it changed like the format of like everything, and it's bothering me so much because the way that I use my phone and like remember how I like to get to different things on my phone. It's very like pattern oriented. Even though it's chaotic, it's still like still kind of know what I'm, how to like eventually get to where I'm going. And it changed everything, and I hate it. I hate it. Um, so, and then it also like reset all my settings. So like my screen timeout was like 15 seconds. And I was like, why is it doing this? I can't even like finish like putting together a thought before my screen times out, which, might sound like a stupid thing to complain about, but I'm going to complain about it. It's my channel. If you don't like me complaining about dumb things, there are places on the internet where I'm not complaining. It's okay. I feel like I got like a cut on my lip or something. Because every time I like touch my lip with my other lip or with like my tongue, it just feels like there's like a little cut on there or something. Don't know why. I haven't been eating like glass or anything, so which I know it's like a high risk situation for me. So I'm trying not to touch my face too much because it does affect the wear test. So I have to like tap and like try not to disturb the makeup. Yeah, I'm doing a foundation makeup test. I feel like a lot of wear tests, you know, there's a lot of things that I'm like, you'll figure out if it's good or not by just hearing reviews. But foundation is like one of those things where I feel like that's a particular one that I feel like people just like try it on and they're like, it's amazing, you've got to try this, and it's like, well, you've had it on for like all of 3 seconds. Slow your roll. I gotta pinch my coins until I find something that really works for me. And then I've got to look at like the shade range and the undertones available and all of that stuff, and you know who it would actually work for, because I feel like sometimes there's some companies I'm just like, what are you even doing? You know, like what's your what's your what's your business plan with this? Because you didn't think things out through, if you ask me. So I've had this dream for a long time, and it's one of those things that like I really don't think could happen at all, especially with my financial situation and just a lot of factors. But like having my own like makeup and or skincare brand is like something that would be so cool for me. And and so trying products is part of that. But then like I've been getting all these ads on Facebook, and it's like I'm not even talking about that on Facebook, but of course the computers know too much. They must be stopped. But am I the only person who like if you pull out like way too much barf, you just like shove it back in there? Let me know if I'm the only one. Um, but but like starting my own brand and you know just like even seeing like marketing myself as a person doing YouTube, you know, it's like um, that is hard enough, but then trying to get enough money to market a new brand that no one's ever heard of from a person no one's ever heard of, um, and you know get people interested, like the money involved and all of that is so insane, um, that it's like unreal. Um, but that would be my like dream gig to be able to do that, to start a makeup line specifically. Skincare, there's so much good skincare out there. Making affordable, really good skincare, that would be cool. But I think a lot of things are coming out. Um, there's a lot of makeup brands out there. So, I mean, the competition is insane. But I'm just, I don't know why. I've been thinking about it a lot lately because I was looking at some notes I had done right before I had started my makeup channel, and I'd started doing makeup on YouTube again, about uh, what I kind of wanted my channel to be. And I wanted it to be this kind of like beginning of, I don't know why my voice is like this, the beginning of kind of building like name recognition, so that if there was ever a brand under that name, people would like know that it was tied to it, which is why my makeup channel on YouTube has a different name than like Ian W Makeup, whereas my TikTok and my Instagram have my actual name on it, where my uh, my YouTube channel's the Makeup Edu one. because I had all these ideas, and like looking back on them, like I remember being like on the bus. I had a long bus ride, and I was like full of ideas, and I was really excited about getting back into makeup, and I wanted to make sure that I got these ideas down, and so I remember being on the bus and just like going into my like notes app and then just like writing all of this stuff down about how I would have my brand and like what it would cater to, and how I would do education and tutorials, and about different products and all this stuff, and how I would make it different and stand out against like other types of makeup. I'm gonna find my vape real quick. So yeah, I had all these like plans and about what I wanted to do, and I was like, maybe I got like a little off message, or maybe I'm doing like exactly what I'm supposed to do, and that's fine as well. There it is. Uh, so I mean, it just because I initially thought it was going to be one way doesn't mean it has to be one way. My makeup channel doesn't have to be one way. Uh, but I don't know. It's one of those dreams that I can't tell if we're just kind of going in a different direction. By we, I mean just like me and my dreams, or if this is just something that I need to like let die and accept that that's just not going to be my reality. You know, I'm sure like a lot of people have like creative endeavor type dreams like that, and they kind of have to face those decisions too, and they follow them to a certain degree, whether it's just in the kind of foundational thinking stage or if it's more. um, but I don't know. I feel like that would just be that would be that's like a life goal type thing. I've thought about it like since I was a teenager, making my own makeup brand. Um, but there's got to be people to buy it, and I'm not in the position where like anyone would buy it. Um, and I definitely cannot afford to start it unless I just took like all of my life savings, and that is like an, a risk that is so beyond reasonable that even Manic Ian wouldn't co-sign on that one. So next we're putting pink here. So you might look at this and be like, oh, well, I mean, you can't really see the pink that much right now with this first row. But you might say, hey, pink is not traditionally in the pride flag. And you're partially correct. So the first pride flag that was invented did have, to my knowledge, that I can remember right now, did have both turquoise and pink in the flag. However, it was removed, and then the modern pride flag, that is not the progress flag, has only 6 colors, and now the progress flag has a little triangle into the rainbow vertical stripes, with pink, blue, white, black, brown, and this is not the order, by the way, black, brown, and it's supposed to show more inclusivity, especially for people of color and for trans folks. I think that when it came out, there was a lot of discussion about whether or not that would represent the community well, or if it was just kind of if it was kind of actually doing the opposite of what it intended, or the person who designed it, they designed it to show that the community was inclusive and needed to be inclusive of people of color and trans folks, because there are still a lot of people who are less than inclusive in the community about those groups. But then there's people who look at it and say, I thought it was already included. Why are you calling it out now? So I can see definitely both points of view, and I think both points of view are valid. And voting on things that represent you, like a flag, that's difficult. That's really challenging. So I personally prefer to have the 6-color flag, or the trans pride flag. But I think a lot of that is primarily, it might sound stupid, but it's primarily from a crochet design standpoint, because it's actually a lot harder to make the progress flag. I was making one for one of my I was making a pretty big one off of a pattern that I had. I still have the pattern. And but I just kept running into like the same problem over and over again, so I abandoned ship on that project. Cool. I get an email from Kelly. I'll have to read that later. I have asked some YouTube celebrities if they are willing to. I didn't mean to call her out, but I've asked some YouTube celebrities if they'd be willing to have any part of the Alzheimer's Association charity stream that I'm doing in June. And so giving people about a month's notice, seeing who I can get to participate. I sent about 7 emails, and who knows who will get back to me, who knows who will be able to participate. But hopefully, I find that that's always fun when people come up and, whether it's an interview. Like I remember I did one where I don't think Crystal came up, but I did invite Bag a Day, who showed up in the chat, which was really nice, and she shared me out, which was very nice. And I interviewed David Browning. I think I interviewed Granny D, and it's been so long. It's really. I know I interviewed David Browning, and so I just sent emails to a couple people that I like, that have their emails in their descriptions. I figured if they don't have their emails in their descriptions, they're not looking for this type of thing. And so we'll see. Hopefully we can get some people in. I think that would be really exciting to have that, to have some headliners in the house. But no pressure to anybody who did get an email, or if I did not email someone. Also, it's not a reflection on you by any means. You can only you can only have so many people up. It's so we will see how that turns out. And I hope, I tried to, I did reach out to a couple people that I did not know either very well or really at all, and I had interactions with them on like YouTube comments or something like that. So I know that that's probably even weirder of an email to receive, uh, but could be cool. But yeah, so maybe we'll get that. Maybe we won't. Always, it's a little scary to kind of put yourself out there like that, and also be like, hey, the only reason I reached out to you was because I'm asking for something from you, because I don't really like those types of interactions. I don't want people to think that I'm just into their, I'm just, you know, there to ask them for something, and I'm not. I don't care about any other part of them other than what they can give me. You know, does that make sense? I don't know. Did I know? Oftentimes I rewatch my videos and I'm at points where I'm like, I know that there was a noise, and I'm like, can anyone hear that but me, or is it just like right outside of the audio? Okay, so we have like a twist here, so I think I might have to put like the whole top in this little circle and just like untwist it. Did I twist the wrong way? I did. I did. I made it worse. But luckily, it's a twist, not a knot, so a little bit easier to get out. And I guess there's a kind of like what could be a knot if I pulled too tightly, but luckily, it ain't that bad. Okay, there's a knot. Um, this pink is not as bright as the bright pink from Red Heart Super Saver, but I still think it's going to do a good job for its purpose. So that is about, okay, go through both loops, the end of the first row, and then starting on the second row, there's only 2 rows of the pink. Well, there were in the other one. We'll see how it looks once I'm coming up on the end of this row to see. So this is what the second row of it looks like. Yeah, not quite as bright, but still there. I feel like because it's not as bright, I should do an extra row. But I only did 2 of the turquoise, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't want the red to completely swallow it up. but because the red's so, I don't know. What do you think? We'll see. So I saw something. I watched a couple different lives. I hopped into a couple different lives today, and I was on Kelly's Crochet Adventures, and I started to say Kelly, and then I realized that I should specify the channel. But someone said, "Did you see that Big Twist is on Mary Maxim?" And I was like, "Skirt, what? Please tell me more." So I went on the Mary Maxim website, and there is one type of big twist, and it's their like big balls. Like that's the only that they do carry. They have those listed right now, and but I looked. They didn't have any other big twists that I saw. Um, so no big twist value or any of their kind of special uh, lines or anything. So that might be the beginning or that might be the end. Who knows? I am burning up, so I'm gonna take this jacket off, which isn't that hot, but maybe it'll just be a little bit more refreshing. What's everyone working on right now? What's in your cup, as some other people like to say? I'm always interested in that question because I'm like, I don't know. It's such a funny, like, I don't know. It's such a, most of the time I'm like, I don't care. Sorry. Sorry if that's bad, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, good for you for drinking water, but I don't know why I asked this question. I think when I was watching a lot of people who were asking that question, I was asking that question too. But then I was just thinking, like, I don't really care. I don't really care what people are drinking. It's a nice conversational question, and and like those types of questions um, sometimes make me feel so awkward because I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. What's in your cup? Not saying that that's what they do it for. I think it's a nice thing when they do it. For me, it just feels awkward when I say it. So. I think I'm gonna stick to my original plan of just having 2 rows of pink. I think it stands out enough while not being it because with the teal and the pink, I just feel like they pull focus a lot because they aren't in the standard flag and they are much brighter. That if they are as thick as the other colors, they are kind of like that's like the only thing you noticed, at least when I see it. So I'm going to pull through here, cut this, and then I'm going to switch to the other cut. I was like, where is it? I walked away. I know that there are a lot of other lives going on right now, so I appreciate anyone who's here hanging out with me. Uh, it's a very nice thing. There's so many lives to work around. We can only be in so many places at once, right? Okay, adding the pink to the other cup. I think for the next couple of days, even though like part of me wants to, crochet and do things for a while and then get back to like doing like a full clean of my room. For the next couple of days, I'm going to be really just kind of paying attention to how much energy I actually have and being a little bit more gentle about what I can do. Because honestly, like maybe I did like 5 times as much the week before um, as I normally can do, but then I went into a week where I basically couldn't do anything, and I just was like, a bump on a log, and I like would rather balance that out and not just be and feel like totally useless and exhausted and living in just like a total mess, and have to do like this big clean. I'd rather do a little bit at a time in what's reasonable. It's so hard if you just want to get so much done at the same time. So I'm just kind of pacing myself physically, emotionally, mentally, remembering that I'm disabled for a reason, but also any human deserves a break and to not, drag out every little bit of energy juice that they've got just to get anything done during the day. Energy juice. So after we finish the pink, the red is done slightly differently. So how the red is done is I will ultimately have 3 rows of the red, but one of those rows of the red is going to lead up into the strap, and the other row is going to be sewn down from the side of the cup and eventually lead into the strap that goes around the back, which has to be sewn by itself and then attached to the piece. So I do a cotton strap underneath the bust, like a thicker, like maybe like an inch and a half to 2 inch thick cotton strap, so that it's moisture wicking. It can fit where it needs to fit. You can adjust it, And it helps the top stay on a little bit more securely, just because I just don't really like having like a string hold. I never liked having like a string holding my whole like uh, you know indecency, potential indecency charge, you know hanging right by it, if that makes sense. So I like to make it as secure as possible, so that the last thing you're worried about is the top, you know, coming off. And on the with the straps, or which granted the straps would still stay up. They are fairly, especially because this is cheaper acrylic. They're still fairly molded, so they're going to stay up, kind of. But depending on how you are shaped, is how they will stay up. Um, Straps are still very important everywhere. Um, and then I've just I whenever I see people who do these straps that are this thick, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, it's great that that works for you. I'm so happy. But you know, with my body, if I was to wear something like that, I basically need like parachute cord, like not parachute cord. Well, I mean, but like I need like parachute strap, um, book bag, book bag strap. The words. Also, briefly going back to mentioning like the like hitting 1,000 subscribers. I had a couple people congratulate me on it, and then I checked, and I was like, just to. I was looking at other things. Actually, I was looking at how many hours, like watch hours, I had, and I had 999 subscribers, which is cool just to have. But like, I was like, I don't even have 1,000 subscribers yet. Um, so I just was like, are we looking at the same numbers? Or what? Or did like somebody just unsubscribe? It made me start questioning, like, did someone just unsubscribe? And between that person saying that they were the thousandth person, and me checking, I don't know. These are the things that ruminate in my mind. Okay, so we're just starting the second row of the pink, the second cup. I'm sure I could have pulled like a 5.5 furls out. Wonder if I feel like I need like a little bit more comfy grip. Probably could have done this earlier. Kind of forget that I have these sometimes. Just not good when you have pricier hooks. Like, you should remember you have them, and you should use them, because that's smart. Okay, so I'm shifting over. I gotta change my grips. Oh yeah, this yarn and this hook are not friends. We are going back to the Clovers. So yesterday I ended up doing a makeup look, and it was my first, maybe only, we'll see, entry into the Mayron halfway to Halloween makeup challenge. And uh, you're supposed to do kind of like horror type makeup. A lot of those makeup projects have prosthetics, which is something that I don't do a lot. So I don't really have a lot of that material. And then also part of it is that they want you to list any Mayron products that you use. Mayron's a brand in the special effects makeup world. There's kind of like three big ones. There's Ben Nye, who's not Bill Nye. There is Krylon, and then there's Mayron. And I don't really have many Mayron products because they just weren't as available to me when I went to the shops that did have that type of makeup. Ben Nye and Krylon were just the ones that were there. So in my special effects, my small special effects kit, I don't really have a lot of Mayron products, and I'm like, oh, like this is gonna look worse. Like that, like, am I even less likely to win because I didn't use any Mayron products? I don't know. And if like one company made it and Mayron made something similar, like I'm not gonna lie and say that I used the Mayron one, because that's just not my style. And I guess like that would be an easy thing to just lie about, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not really sure I liked last night's look, if I'm being honest. I did this like, I imagined this like neon black light, like vampire type thing, and I was on Zach's live. Crystal of That Yarn was with me with Zach, and I had started it and then finished it in another video that I recorded. I wasn't live when I did it, and and I don't know if I just don't know if I love the way it turned out. Like maybe it could have been a cool idea if it had been executed better, or maybe it was just a bad idea in the first place. Um, Maybe with cooler special effects. I don't know. I don't know. So I can always give it another go. I can have as many entries as I want until March 30th. So I don't have a lot of time as well because I am working on these projects, but I don't crochet all day. In fact, uh, pretty much the only time I've been crocheting is when I'm doing these lives lately. So that's, I can do makeup at other times. But then if I'm doing stuff like wear tests, like I can't do like crazy makeup over a wear test because it's gonna affect how the whole thing is. So I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something more. Oh my gosh, I found just like literally more scar wax just fell out of nowhere. Okay, it's it's everywhere. I wore this shirt at the end, so who knows? Stuff is just the worst. It's the worst stuff to deal with. I've heard you can make it yourself, and it's a little bit less sticky and the worst. But I use the stuff I bought, and I do not like that stuff. And it was, oh my gosh, it's so sticky. And then I tried to like spike up my hair, and I had a ton of like hairspray in it, but then I also had like my mousse in it from before. So So we just do our best. We just do our best, don't we? Don't we? I feel like I'm talking to like a dog or something when I talk in that voice. Is there like a law that you have to talk to dogs and cats and animals like that in the baby voice when you are talking to them? I feel like it kind of is, right? So with these, I sewed my tails into it as I change colors. So I'm feeling confident that the tails will stay in and be secure. I know because there is fringe at the top, at the bottom, I could easily just have like tied it off and left them hanging, but I didn't do that because I didn't want to. Okay, so now I'm at the end of the pink. Make sure the tail's out. Okay, what you doing over here? Some weird noises happening. I don't really I don't really like the loops and threads impeccable yarn. This is impeccable, right? Yeah, I don't really like the impeccable yarn. I I I didn't use Michael's much before anyways. Before Joanne's downfall. But I just I've I find that it's just doesn't you know people. I know a lot of people would take this over Red Heart Super Saver any day, but I've used Red Heart Super Saver for so long that I feel like once you get used to the texture, you know what it's capable of, and I feel like sometimes loops and threads just feels like so fragile of a yarn that I just feel like it has like high potential to break on me. And that really makes me nervous. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it just doesn't feel like as secure of a yarn. Like, I feel like if I tugged it a little bit more, I could easily like snap it. I'm not going to test that theory right now. But it just doesn't feel as secure of a yarn to me. I feel like it splits a lot more. Like, yes, the texture of Super Saver is not great. I'm not disillusioned by that, but I feel like it's not. This just isn't a very um, like stable yarn, and that makes me real nervous. Okay, so we're starting the first red row. And I'm carrying both the end of the pink and the end of the or beginning of the red with me to kind of conceal the ends a little bit. I'm gonna work 6 or 7 stitches ish before cutting the yarn. Okay, so I'm going to cut the excess, hold slightly, and then cut it there. And then back to crocheting. And it's splitting so much. And I just don't have this problem with Red Heart Super Saver. It's not the softest yarn. And I don't even think Impeccable is their like most valued yarn. Impeccable is like their step up from the lowest value yarn, right? Did I remember that correctly? Because they have their like the ones with the neons in it. I can't remember the name. I'm on the Michael site right now. Sorry if my screen is poopy. So they have their soft classic, which is $3.99, and then the impeccable is $4.99. Although I'm not looking at yardage, but just like per ball. And I thought that the soft classic was their value yarn, and then impeccable was a step up. But I'm just not really liking the impeccable yarn. I used it for, let's see, which ones are the blue, the turquoise, the yellow, orange, and pink, and the red. So basically everything but the purple and the green are the Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn. The purple is from Big Twist Value, and the green is Red Heart Super Saver. And there's definitely just a huge difference in all of those yarns. Now that I'm done with all the Twilight movies, I don't know what to do with my life. It took a significant portion of my day for 2 days, 3 days. Now I'm like, what do I watch? What do I do? Who am I? Oh, I need to send a little text off. It's on that. Hmm. Interesting. Okie dokie. Looking in the wrong place. Hmm? Actually, I think for the red, one goes up the outside and becomes a strap, and then on the inside, that's what I use to connect the two. Because also, I think it was just like connecting like 2 stitches to connect the cups, and I was like, oh no, oh no, we don't make this secure up in her. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I think I already said that. Still mean it, but I think I already said that. So I put in a refund order for the ass cushion that got stolen. If you don't recall what I'm talking about, I ordered a seat cushion and like back support because I'm either sitting on my bed recording like this or I'm sitting over at this table to my right recording makeup videos, and that's like most of my day most days, and so it does hurt my back quite a bit. Even if I do remember to stretch as much as I need to. So having like a more supportive seat is important. And I like the idea of being able to transport it from chair to bed if need be. And and it got stolen. They said it got delivered, but I could I I don't know where it went. I strongly believe it was stolen, whether it was one of my neighbors or just someone who saw that the door was unlocked on the outside, if it was, and just took a package. Um, you know, it's, not the absolute worst thing that's ever happened to me, but it's just, it's not fun having things taken from you, especially can't afford to get them again. So I'm hoping that I will be refunded and potentially be able to get it. Uh, and we can figure it out. The one thing is, if I do have to like sign for it or go to the post office for it, I need to get my legal name on it because it has my preferred name. If you did not know, Ian is not my legal name. And so that's, can be a whole rigmarole if my ID does not match the name on the package. So we'll figure it out. But hopefully I started that process of trying to get that again because I'm gonna try to follow through on that and get that cushion for my ass. You might have noticed that I changed my lip Medusa piercing. It's much smaller now. It's a little spike. But the big one, I didn't like the way it looked. I might go back to what I had before. I just had it so long. I was like, it'd be fun to do a little change. And then and uh, this one, and also the big one, the big silver and green one, it was turning my skin green because, I mean, usually I wear cheap body jewelry, but I don't usually have it make my skin turn green, so I took that off because I was tired of that. So it happens. I thought it would sit up more, but the way the placement of the stud is, it's kind of made to sit a little bit lower, so it sits like almost completely onto my lip, and that also affects like my makeup looks and stuff like that. So it just wasn't working for me. Okay, so this is the third. I'm starting the third round of the red. So I'm going to go up to the top and then I'm going to switch over to the pattern. Put the overlay on so I can see. I think we're having a little bit of a slow night. Not that I don't appreciate everyone here, but right before I went on, there were so many people about to go live or had just gone live, and I was like, "Yep, this is kind of what I expected, but that's cool too." Um, okay, and so I'm reading through some instructions on how they did this particular strap. Okay, I'm gonna see what size hook they use. I think it's a smaller hook than I used myself. So they used a 3mm hook and they used a 2-weight yarn. So I'm not gonna go down that much, but I am gonna go down in my hook size. Once I get up to the very top of the cup. So this pattern wants you to start in either a magic circle or a circle itself. What I'm gonna do is instead do all of the stitches out of the very, very top stitch. So it's gonna be a little bit of a tight fit, but it will be worth it, hopefully. Yeah, I feel like the quality of the yarn, the how I feel about the integrity of the yarn, all of that stuff. I just don't. I'm just not as connected with it with the impeccable yarn as I am with a lot of other value yarns. Um, and I don't know how other people rank it. I hear more people talk about the soft classic, I think, than the impeccable yarn. So I don't know if that means anything. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down a hook size or 2. I'm going to go grab a different hook really quickly. So I'm gonna turn my camera off and I'll be right back. Okay, I just remembered that I took like all of my hooks out for some reason. And of course, can't find them now. I had like all my. Oh, I think all of them are in my little troll bag. This one right here. So I'm gonna use a 4mm and see how that works up. And if I need to go up or down a size, I will. So I'm moving from a 5.5mm that I use for the cup to a 4mm for the strap. Okay, so it wants me to it says chain 3 at the beginning, but because of how I started with a single crochet, I'm gonna chain 2 instead. And we're going to count that as the first in cluster, first double crochet of the next cluster stitch. 3 double crochet, yeah, this yarn is so splitty. Ugh, Red Heart would never. turn, and then chain 2, and then do another cluster. I feel like starting, if you're doing like 2 clusters in a circle, like I feel like chaining 5 creates a pretty big circle. I know everyone kind of has their like standard like magic circle kind of type size. Chaining 5 seems pretty large. Turn your work counterclockwise. Wow, they're even telling you how to turn it. That's interesting. Counterclockwise. This is clockwise. This is counterclockwise. I'm like, brain. And then slip stitch into the chain space. And then chain 3. They say count it as the first double crochet of the next cluster stitch. But then you do a cluster stitch, when you do a cluster stitch, you put all those double crochets into one stitch. So it's just it's a chain next to a cluster. It doesn't have anything to do with the cluster. Right? Like, I feel like that's a little unnecessary to say, but whatever. I still get what they're saying, I think. So, um, you know, apparently the instructions are clear enough. Oh, but you do put the chain into the chain is on the hook when you do the cluster stitch. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn my work. So do we just continue to turn counterclockwise there, or just for the appearance of uniformity, I suppose? So this is what it looks like. I picked this one because I thought it looked kind of like hearts, but looking at it now, I feel like, let me do one more, because I feel like maybe this looks like upside down. Yeah, it looks like hearts, kind of, right? I feel like maybe even like a chain 1 would that make it more heart looky likey? Licky likey. Try chain 1, which probably won't be enough. And we'll just kind of make it all look like a solid. This yarn is splitting like crazy. Counterclockwise, and then to put that stitch right there. Yeah, see, that just pulls it so much together that it doesn't look like anything really. But let's see what it looks like on top of. Michael's Impeccable Yarn. Boo hiss. Okay, so these two, well, the first one had the first stitch into it was a single crochet, so that might affect how it looks slightly? No, not really, because every time you bring the chain into it, that's slightly thicker than the double crochet cluster. But I feel like I I kind of like these smaller ones a little bit better. I don't think anything's even quite that heart shape. I know that there are heart shaped chains out there, but they don't look like the chain that I did. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do one chain in between the clusters because I like the way that looks better. Even though this yarn is bringing out some straight up fury in my soul. um, I want something that someone's happy to get and wear. So the things we do for our customers, right? But this is some splitty ass yarn. I mean, I'm talking worse than like for what it's doing for me. It's like worse than Simply Soft, worse than like what everyone considers like. I've never worked with bamboo, so I can't compare it to bamboo because a lot of people talk about that. I mean, I deal with kitchen cotton a lot, and like this splits more than kitchen cotton, like lily sugar and cream, peaches and cream, stuff like that. This is splitting more than that for me, which I think is impressively bad. Counterclockwise. I feel like yeah, I mean, I guess it would get kind of twisted around itself if you twisted it the other way. So I guess I can understand why there's that clarification now that I'm kind of really looking at it. So I've switched to doing one chain in between and like uh, a 4 millimeter hook is not that small for 4 weight yarn, and this is on the thin side of a 4, so this is just not making me happy. But I really do think that this is the pattern that I used. Something like this is the pattern that I used. I'm really bad about making stuff like this, posting it, and then like not writing down like what I did for my pattern. Um, I know when we start doing freestyle Fridays, like writing down the pattern is going to be something that's going to be so helpful because it's not something that I do nearly enough, and I pay the price often. Like, how did I make this again? And I have to kind of like figure it out and try to make something exactly like it. Where if I had spent like even like 2 seconds writing it down, then I would have been much happier. But no, it had to be difficult. Manana, do 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 do. Manana, do 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 do. Do, 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 do. So, if anyone has any movie or TV suggestions, I am open because now I feel like I'm like lost. I don't know what to watch. Uh, I have a lot of streaming services that I still share with my ex. So luckily we we had to, like, you know only one person could really keep the animals, but we do still share streaming services, so priorities are right. um, but I have a lot of streaming services, so if you know I don't have them all, but so I'm open to suggestions if anybody has any. Whether you're watching this live or you watch the replay or have me on Facebook and you message me, I'm open because I want something to watch and I'm done with the Twilight movies. Oh, nope, didn't mean to do that. Okay, just the idea of pulling this to get the little yarn baby out scares me too much to just do it casually. So I'm kind of being more gentle. Yeah, this yarn is not. How long of this live am I just going to complain about this yarn? We're about to find out. So this is how it looks so far. You can see if I did have, you can see the sides that had the chain on them. They're noticeably bigger. And I don't actually like how that looks. I feel like it looks a little weird to me. It just not weird. Um, But when I'm looking at their chain, it doesn't appear to be as noticeable. So I'm actually tempted to do a bigger cluster on the side that doesn't have the chain, so that I can kind of even it out. And I think I like the way that the bigger cluster looks. So again, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to frog it. And I'm going to do a 4 double crochet cluster on the side that does not have the chain, just to make it a larger side. And we'll see if it's too big. We'll play around with it. Do one more. Close it up. And I feel like, I mean, that's only 2 right there, but I feel like those look a lot more even to me, and I like the way that looks a little bit more. Now, when I did this the first time, because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do the strap in the back, that took me a really, really long time to construct. So I am really focused on making sure I have enough time to focus on that because it I used cotton yarn, but I was getting a lot of like both stretching and like the measurements just were coming out really weird. And then I also wanted to put boning, like plastic boning, in the back, which I don't have any here. Buying some online, I would have to buy like probably like 2 yards of it. And I don't know of anything I could use nearby that's would be good in place. I mean, I'm sure there's like honestly, I probably could cut up one of those like palette knives that you use for like mixing paint and stuff. Like the cheap plastic ones that you buy, and just like cut that into shape. Probably ruin a pair of scissors, but I mean that's basically what plastic boning is. Maybe the plastic boning has a little bit more integrity, but not that much. I mean, it's probably not that much of a difference. And then the back laces up, kind of like a little bit of a like a corset lacing type, so that you can make sure that that sucker is on you. Because to me, that was important. Uh, I had forgotten about that part, and when the person asked about what the back was like, I was like, "I want you to be able to slide it over your head." But now I'm like, "That's not." I read the description, and I was like, "That's not what it says." Um, so, um, so I think I've got it figured out. But like, I'm always like, "Why don't I write more stuff down?" It really would serve me better. I really need to learn from the people around me who are telling me to write stuff down when I do it and all of that. But they're just too smart. Rudy, do you crochet? Nope, I wanted to do more. See, it's already splitting the yarn. Oh my gosh, this hurt my hand so much because I'm trying to hold it together so tightly. So this is what it looks like so far. Um, I would not say. I mean, it looks like somewhere between like circles and hearts. It looks kind of heart reminiscent, but not completely heart like. Which that's cool. That's fine. It looks really similar to the picture that I took when I um, made this and the first time. So that's cool with me. Oh god, that yarn is splitting. Oh look, some bot from Twitch. Thank goodness you're here. So I'm still getting used to like the schedules of like other people and stuff. And if a lot of people do go live on, it's Tuesday, right? Yeah. If a lot of people do go live on Tuesday at this time, and it's just like kind of interfering with other people being able to watch, um, you know, the people that they would normally watch, I might, I might have like Sundays be my day off from streaming, and Tuesdays. Uh, I, I that's not that's not bad. I mean, I could still go live if on like random days I have the energy for it, but then I don't have any overlapping scheduled lives with a ton of people, just so that no one has to. It's one less choice that people have to make when they're trying to watch people. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, my hand is cramping so much because I've got to hold this yarn, so like my tension in my working yarn hand is so tight because I'm trying to keep this yarn from splitting, and this is not. I've not had this much issue with the yarn in a little while. I mean, I had different issues with the black uh, yarn, that the black, what is it? What are you? Chenille yarn. But there were different issues. This is a whole nother, like this is a pain, like an actual pain issue. Um, which I'm not super happy about. But the red has to get done. I could work on the strap portion because that's moving into cotton, and that's a whole different ball game. I keep on wanting to close up that cluster with a slip stitch, like right above it, instead of turning and doing the slip stitch in between. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think I've got much juice left in me for finishing even this strap tonight. We'll see, but I'm gonna hurt my hand, and it's my non-dominant hand, so this is the one I focus even less on taking care of. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Okay, let's call that a night. 1, 2, 3, and then pull that through. That yarn sucks. Fuck you. You're worse than Red Heart Super Saver, and you're disguising yourself. But I'm cool. Okay, so now to another yarn that has a reputation for being difficult. Back to chenille. So I made a couple mistakes while I was making the original Edward pillow, and so the sides weren't straight because I had added some stitches, and so now I'm trying to work with that. But this is what it looks like so far. I know some of the sides are like a little bit wrinkly, but it's just me doing my best here. Hi, welcome in. So I just worked on a festival top type thing for a little bit, but my hand was starting to hurt a lot from the tension in it. So I'm going to finish or work on finishing the pink panel. This is the pillow inside out. I have the zipper for it. So I saw this trick that I'm excited to try where you take a fork. So obviously you want to have hand protection. You take a fork and or have a fork that you can't burn your hand on if the end gets hot, and you use that to poke holes in the sides of the zipper. I'm trying to find the zipper so I can show you. I know the zipper's over here. Like I said, I was like cleaning today, so like kind of like threw everything in the area of where it should be, but um, that doesn't mean it is where I want it. But anyways, like how you have a zipper and then you have kind of like the fabric on the sides of it. So someone had used a very hot fork because I guess it was probably a polyester zipper. The fabric was polyester. So they poked evenly spaced holes in the fork so that you could crochet through the holes, which I thought was genius. And I definitely never would have thought of that. So I can't even show you the zipper. But just imagine what a zipper looks like, and that's what it looks like. I got a zipper that is larger than the pillow, so that it will go end to end. Okay. Oh, is Scotty ready to come out? He's not gonna be happy about where I placed some stuff in his way, but he's got to deal with it. Okay, so I'm at that point. I'm gonna flip my work, and I've done a chain and go in to this. So the pink side of this is all single crochet. I did this purposefully, even though the other side, most of what you see is double crochet. I did this on purpose because I am planning to do surface crochet lettering on the pink side, the Jacob side, and I wanted as many spots to place stitches as I needed as possible, um, so that I could kind of have the best chance of getting my lettering right. Now, will it look good? TBD, but that's okay. I also, I had talked with Crystal, who is my most trusted advisor on these issues, about ways that I could set up the lettering to make sure it fits the space and how to make it look good and all this stuff. And something that I thought of was like a projector. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Sylvia. Welcome in. Happy to have you. Are you working on anything? Do anything special tonight? But I've seen some things where people like make their phones into projectors with certain setups and stuff like that. And never quite got it to work, but I might try to check it out again and see if I can wrap my brain around it. Because if I could project the letters on to the piece, then I could know exactly where to go after kind of deciding how I want the letters displayed. So if you haven't been keeping track of the pillow, I'm not going to turn it inside out just yet, but I'm making a wedding present for my sister who's getting married at the end of the month. and we always send stupid Twilight memes to each other, and just because they're funny. And so I got this blanket yarn. This is Bernat Blanket Sparkle in the color like gray moon something or other. This is what's left of it. So sorry, it looks like a hot mess. You can see the sparkles there. They're like a nice iridescent. This yarn is actually, it's very soft. It feels like any other blanket yarn. And so, I mean, I don't like working with blanket yarn personally, but I'm working with chenille on this side. But I found this like sparkly yarn because Edward sparkles in the movies, and it says I did a mosaic pattern that says "Skin of a Killer Bella," because that's one of his famous lines. The other side of the pillow, I'm hoping to make it work, is going to be a Team Jacob side. Originally, I was going to make two pillows, but I could not make the mosaic for Jacob work. And I also was like, you know what? This is going to be a big pillow, and I'm running out of yarn to complete. I couldn't do both sides with the yarn I had or get more yarn in the time that I needed it. So I just decided to do one side Team Jacob, one side Team Edward, and I am gonna do like "Where the hell you been, Loca" on the other side, because that's one of the lines, and it's super ridiculous. So I'm excited. Uh, I know it's not a I know it's definitely not like a traditional type of wedding present that really goes to both parties. However, her like both her and her fiance are kind of just like minimalist people, and like she never asked for anything and but I still wanted to make something for her. Um and I uh we like I said, we send Twilight memes to each other all the time, and uh, so I I asked her a couple times. I was like, "Hey, what do you want? You want anything? You want anything crocheted or like anything? I'll do your makeup day of, like whatever." Which I'm glad I didn't promise makeup, because first of all, she doesn't wear like really any makeup at all. But I'm ending up getting there pretty late, so I'm basically gonna like roll in on two wheels to the ceremony. But uh, so I said, "Last chance, what do you tell me what you want, if you have want any say in it." And she was like, "Surprise me." I was like, "Challenge accepted." So she's getting a huge Twilight pillow. Don't ask and you may receive. But would doing this not in single crochets be a lot faster? Doing it in double crochets be a lot faster? Yes, but I want the best chance for the text to look good. Really was having a lot of fun doing the mosaic crochet pattern making. It's really like only the second time I've ever made a pattern for mosaic crochet, so I um, feel really proud of it, and how it turned out. I hope to get it pattern tested um, after when I have time to make sure that everything looks good and send it out. But so maybe it'll be out in the ether one day. But right now it's just me. I'm also working on and this is like third in the queue of things I have to do. But I started working with Mosaic to do a pride project, or like a set of pride projects where I was gonna do like like bricks, like, or it's like things that were crochet items in the shape of bricks, that said different items, uh, due, because of the Stonewall riots, and talking about how, like that the first brick thrown at Stonewall, like, changing, LGBTQ plus rights forever in the U.S. and in a lot of the world. Not everywhere, some places they're a little bit further ahead, some places we're a little further behind. But the brick thrown at Stonewall was a huge moment. So at first I was going to do a tapestry crochet, and I just felt like carrying the yarn through stitches, I could still see the yarn through more than I wanted. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do mosaic. And once I started doing the mosaic, I felt a lot better about it. I felt like it looked a lot better. And oh, my voice. Uh, so I I switched over to mosaic, and then when this project came along, I didn't even play around with doing tapestry. I was like, no, we're going straight to mosaic, baby. Okay, wait. So I do want to put this in this stitch. Then chain. So I'm using Premier Basics Chenille Brights. This is the color, it's a very pretty color. This is the color Blush. Has nothing to do with Jacob from Twilight. And then the text will be in this color, which is the color Orchid, and also in the Chenille Brights. Um, I I did. I wasn't quite sure what colors I was going to use for the Jacob side. It was a little bit easier with the Edward side, um, but ultimately, I was just like, he's in love, and some it just was like, I'll do like lovey colors, because uh, originally it was going to be a set of pillows, and I just didn't feel like aesthetically, like in the home, like very warm colors and very cool colors. Like, it felt like it would be hard to like plan around, but now it would be cool, be it, because to have both in the house, or to have like one side be warmer, one to be colder, so that whatever their design aesthetic was, they could make it work. But who cares? As long as they like it, which I hope they do. I've said it many times. Their dogs might literally just like tear this to pieces within seconds. Um, I've accepted that reality. They're a little. The dogs are a little rowdy. Um, Tend to tear things up a little bit. So, but if that's what she lets, if she wants to happen to her present, you give the gift not because you want the other person, um, like, you give the gift because the thought and the intention and all of that, and after that, it's like it's out of your control. Like, I always, like in other things I talk about, when we like apologize and stuff like that, it's not your responsibility. Like, once you apologize or something like that, you make amends, um, you don't you don't get to force people to accept an apology. You can apologize all you want, but you can't force someone to accept your apology. That's their right to choose whether or not they want to Like, you drop your apology off, and you know they get to choose if they pick it up and accept it. They don't have to. Like, no one owes that um, to you. So that's kind of been my mentality about a lot of things, and I kind of stick to it with things like gifts. You know. I wish that my phone was not synced to my laptop because I did not want this and it just happened. Rude. Sometimes it's a little difficult on the edge to make if you're deciding between a slip stitch and a single crochet because sometimes the yarn just is so slippery on the hook that it just decides for you and you're like, I actually didn't want to do that, so that's a little rude, but whatever. And every once in a while, I just lay it on a flat surface to make sure that I'm having it, that the pink layer is lying flat. I've had to do it frog like many times because I was like adding stitches or taking away stitches on the sides. So I just like to check it every once in a while to make sure. I could count my stitches back and forth, but I'm not doing that. I'm on team do the least. I'm so annoyed that I can't find that zipper. It's probably maybe I didn't throw it over here. I swore I did. I mean, I threw the latch hook over here. I threw the keychains over here. All of the stuff that was like on the ground that were kind of like crochet related. I'm so annoyed that also that the that yarn is hurting my hand so bad. Like I'm like this this yarn is so different. But now my hand already kind of hurts, so I'm like, oh, fuck. chain to get to the next row and twist the project. Okay, I'm gonna do a little stretchy break. If you are also cramping up because you are an old person, I encourage you to do the same. Ah. That was just me stretching, not me being extra fucking weird. But, you know, who cares anymore? That's a knee. Can you see it? I don't know. Got to cushion the ass. There it is. See, the ass is kind of covering it. Okay. This is an all-purpose zipper. And I got a 22-inch, which I'm pretty sure that that's not the specific size I ordered. I thought I ordered 24, but either way, the pillow is about 19 inches across, so this works just fine. So it is not an invisible zipper. It's just a regular zipper. It is polyester, so it will melt with heat. So that hot fork on the side method works. So I think what this person did is they either had a hot plate or just like a stovetop, and they got the fork really hot, and then they used it to kind of precisely put melt holes in the zipper edge, and then they crocheted into that. Now, I don't think that my hook will be able to go into anything like fork size. I was originally going to use the yarn from the pillow to sew it all together. But thinking about that trick and how big the holes would be, and how I probably don't want to do too big to compromise the zipper working and everything, I probably will switch over to a worsted weight yarn and sew it in that way. And I'll just try to use whatever I have that's, I think I have like I must have some yarn that's close. I mean, I definitely have red yarn. I have this shitty red yarn that I'm worried will break. I have the pink yarn that is the same brand. There's got to be something. I think I have some leftover red heart that I found earlier today. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Don't panic. Don't panic. The don't panic is me. To me, obviously. No one else. No one else cares. Okay, so crocheting back across the edge. And I think I mentioned this before, maybe it was in another video. I'm not going to put the zipper on until I have made sure, because I'm going to have to do the surface crochet on the other side. So I'm going to wait until the text is on and I like it, it's secured, and then I'm going to make the zipper. I am going to see if my mom, who is in North Carolina, can buy the pillowcase. So in the craft section, you can buy like polyfill pillowcases that are pre-filled. And so I don't have to travel with the pillowcase. Or with the pillow, I can just travel with the pillowcase that I'm making. If not, I can just get the pillow here, but it'd be cool to not have to travel with it. It's just one less thing. Okay, so go through both loops. Then I go through both loops. sides and then over to the end, and some stitch right here. Phone is buzzing. Like, notifications are so hard to read with this phone update. I don't know. I don't even want to check it. I don't even want to check my phone because it takes so long to navigate just how to fucking find them. Okay. Yarn, don't give up on me now. I just need you to come out of the skein. Good little yarn. It's starting to get pretty heavy. This is not light yarn, so this is pretty heavy pillowcase. I mean, this is definitely like as heavy as like a, a baby blanket made out of blanket yarn. So I'm like feeling it in my back. If only I had my ass pillow to help out, but okay. Yeah, my back's hurting pretty badly. So we didn't quite make it to 3 hours. I didn't quite make it to the bottom. I still have, um, uh, let's see, about 3.5 rows of double crochet left. So probably about 7 rows of single crochet before I put this thing down, flip it, and reverse it. And then I'll figure out how I'm going to do the text for it. Hopefully, I can think of something smart, but no promises. Yeah, let me. Yeah, my back is just like no. Welcome in, welcome in. I was working earlier on a pride top, but got a little frustrated with the yarn as it was splitting quite heavily. Was working on a pillowcase and my back started hurting. I'm just falling apart over here. But this is what the top is looking like thus far. So it will have the cups like this, and so they are concave in like that, and then they have a thicker strap. I'm a big believer in security in straps. When it comes to clothing, I would much rather do function over form, although I think you can have both. So I'm not really loving this yarn, but I've got it, gonna work with it. But I have to take a break because my wrist is real hurty, and I don't like that. But I can work on the strap to give my wrist a little break when it starts to hurt rather than pushing through the pain. If you ever have had wrist, hand, finger issues due to crafting, it sucks, but I personally have never found that working through the pain has been helpful. It always just makes matters 1,000 times worse. Maybe not 1,000, but like a lot worse. And then you're not able to craft as much later. So stopping before it hurts really bad generally is the best course of action. I don't think I did that early enough, and I think that it hurt for a while before I actually stopped doing it. If you want to see the pattern that I used for that I kind of adopted for the strap, this is it. I made a slight change to it. So first of all, because I didn't start with a circle because I just attached it directly into the part of the top. But what I did is the side that has the chain up on it, I did a 3 double crochet cluster, and the side that you connect to actually I changed everything about it, didn't I? So then I did 1 chain in between the clusters rather than 2 chains so that it could be a little bit more compact. And I like the way it looked better. And then on the side after the chain, I did a 4 double crochet cluster. And I felt like this gave kind of somewhere between like a heart and a circle type pattern. I felt like the side that you chain up with, if you follow this pattern as it's written, is a lot thicker than the side that doesn't have the chain up. So to even them out, I just added another double crochet to that cluster. And to me, I felt like that kind of evened it out and made it a little bit more symmetrical rather than kind of like zigzagging like this, depending on like where you turned it. And I like the look of that a little bit more. If you want like a more zigzaggy look, you can continue to do that. That's totally fine. This is not my pattern. It's just something that I found. And I think that this is a pattern that I used originally for the chain that I marketed this pattern under, because I didn't write things down, and I'm gonna try to get better about that so that it's not such a hassle. Yes. So yeah, I know someone just got here, but I feel like I'm not really super exciting tonight, and some nights are like that. I know that a bunch of people were live tonight, so I think that maybe I might just start skipping Tuesdays, so that there's not just another person live that is competing with everyone else, and take a break. I take breaks normally on Sundays as well. I might, like, those are days that like I might go live, I might not, all this stuff, but it's you know yeah, it's just good to schedule some breaks. And then if I have more energy than I expected, good. If I don't, that's fine too. But I thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching, and watching me suffer, really. I think I suffered through this whole stream. So thank you for hanging out with me. If you had any tips on any of the stuff that I talked about, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I will talk to you later. I'm going live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, just like I did tonight. So hopefully I will see you tomorrow, And I hope you have a great night, morning, wherever you are, whatever time it is.